Yeah, let's talk about the bigger picture. Let's talk about how we be ballin', playing with the Wizards. Let's talk about the Nats and how they always got good pitchers. Let's talk about the Cats, how Rex can turn them boys to winners. Injuries and updates, oh yeah. To the opponent, we stand toe to toe, yeah. To the top, this podcast gonna go, yeah. I think it's something you should know, yeah.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Ref the District. I'm Nathan Perry, and the boys are back in town. We got Trev actually the last couple weeks. He hasn't missed.
Yeah, actually I have. Yeah.
I was gone last weekend. Stoner was gone the week after that. So Trev pulled things down, but we're all back. Of course, if you watched our video with Julie Donaldson, then you would have seen us all three in action there. I'm still on leave, so you get bearded Nathan for at least one more day.
You get bald Trevor today. I just cut my hair before I got on the air, so y'all get bald Trevor today.
And you got barely awake Stoner.
Yeah,
Stoner finishing up on like 36 hours worth of flying. Or travel, and gets back. He got back today around 2, and so he might fall asleep during this. So
he might be a little grumpy too. I notice when Stoner's sleepy and tired, he gets a little cranky pants. So.
Yeah, be careful, Trev. Watch your tone with me today, Trev, because I'm going to come.
See what I mean, y'all? See, I was just telling y'all.
He's going to bring that fire. Of course, this is our flagship podcast program that we also stream live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter every 7:30 on Wednesday, and then we'll put that up on any audio platform that you listen to your podcast. Check us out there as well. Want to appreciate those who are in the chat. My mom, Redskins Weekly, P-Dub in the house, G17 with the question for the Wiz, which I wouldn't mind answering there as well. And yes, there is a comment in there, but I'm not going to address
save that for later.
Not going to address
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nathan. Happy birthday to you.
It is my birthday. This is factual information. I share it with Dr. Seuss and Bon Jovi.
Hey.
Amongst some other people, I'm sure. I haven't looked it up in a couple of weeks since we last talked about it. There are 2 other March birthdays on this podcast, brother. As well. Cheers. I got water now. I'll get an adult beverage after the show. So when we get to, we just happen to be broadcasting on my birthday. Trev's got a birthday in March. Stoner's got a birthday in March. We'll have to celebrate everybody's birthday together. If you would like to get me a birthday present, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel.
Dang, there we go.
We are nearing the 1K mark. So just make sure that you're one of those people helping us out there. Give us all a birthday gift. It'd be nice of you. Thanks, Redskin Weekly, P-Dub, and my mom for the happy birthday wishes in the chat. We got a good show for you, though, today. We're going to be talking the NFL Combine when it comes to the game. And we'll cool down with a little Major League Baseball talk, as there's not going to be any Major League Baseball, which, by the way, if you're a Nationals fan, they are still the last team to have played 162 games during the regular season and win a championship.
That's right. Defending champs still. Can't deny them.
The Braves played 161 games last year. So,
oh my gosh!
So they get so the Nationals continue to hold the full regular season title for one more year.
Yeah.
As unbelievable as that may seem, we're going to warm up with a few topics. I left these 2 to their own devices last week, and we were talking about Earth rotating and travel and Donda. And you know what? We're going to let them kind of decide where to drive the warm up here as well, so we can at least get away from the birthday talk.
Nathan, have you not seen the most spectacular documentary that's ever been produced? Have you not watched that at all, Nathan?
No.
Listen, so you don't have to like Kanye.
You don't.
I like Kanye's music, so it's not the problem.
Okay. Yeah, right. You don't.
But what's great about this documentary, and I think what makes any documentary great, is somebody decided early on, whether it was Kanye or the guy who actually did all the recording, which was Cootie, and I don't know his full name or anything, but they recognized 20 years ago that Kanye West was going to be a star and that they should document what he's doing at an early age. And they followed him. Cootie followed him everywhere with a camera for the last 20 years.
Everywhere,
documented
literally.
his rise and documented everything he did to get to where he is. They have him, meeting Jay-Z the first time. They have him with all of these up and coming rappers from Chicago and then New York. And it's just amazing to see him and see them in the studio and putting together the magic that eventually comes out on CD or whatever. I mean, Trev, I know Trev loves Kanye, but you don't have to love Kanye to love this documentary.
No, and then this documentary makes me love Kanye even more because, like Stoner was saying, I follow Kanye's music, so I listen to what he says and stuff like that, and I watch his Donda album live streams and follow his Instagram. But to see it all come from the beginning to where it is now, incredible, incredible. Nathan, he had his jaw wire shut, and his filmer Cootie recorded him getting the wires taken out of his jaw.
Yeah,
and
the
doctor was like, "You can't do that." Yeah, the doctor's like, "You can't do that." And he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're doing it." You just have to watch it. It's amazing.
I'm not gonna watch it. Just FYI.
Whoa! Why not?
I don't. It's
We're
not
telling
my
you,
jam.
it's a great.
Okay, great.
And
I'm not telling people don't watch it. I'm saying I'm not going to watch it.
He's not going to watch it.
I still haven't watched The Last Dance. I still haven't seen what the Tiger King or whatnot that people were going crazy for a couple of years ago. It's just not my. It's just not my
What else
thing.
are you going to talk about then? Because he's not going to talk about any more documentaries or anything like that. So what else are you going to talk about?
All right. Well, one other thing.
People watch it. Let me know if you in the chat if it's something you guys watched and want to watch. That's great.
It's amazing.
It's just not. I'm not going to spend my time.
Yeah,
we'll get Gavin to watch it.
Yeah, get Gavin. There you go. One other thing that
is it animated?
Watched, one other part of that documentary, Trev.
Yeah,
when he was in the studio, and it was one of the first times when he met Pharrell. Right.
Yes.
And this was when he was trying to transition from being a producer. I mean, he was already a well-established producer, but he wanted to be a rapper. And he's in the studio with Pharrell, and he lays down one of his beats. And I forgot Through the Wire. That's what it was. It's Through the Wire, the song that he wrote while his jaw was wired shut. And Pharrell is standing there kind of listening to him. And then all of a sudden, Kanye just breaks out into a rap on the song for a minute or so. And Pharrell's mind
is blown, literally blown.
He said, "I had no idea that you had that in you. I knew you were a producer. I didn't know you had that rap in you."
And
it's just stuff like that, just to see the magic of what goes on to behind the scenes. I don't know.
And you got to see how hard
watch that
and persistent you have to be if you want to make it in that world. Because the other part I liked is when he went to Rockefeller, which is Jay-Z's record label back in the day, or maybe still now, whatever. And he went to every single department, each office, and played this song. And people were still on the phone; they weren't paying attention to it. So he would just stop and go to the next one and play for somebody over here.
Yeah,
and they would listen and be like, "Okay, that's hilarious," and then just go back to what they're doing and not take them seriously at all. And since you're not going to watch it, Nathan, he spent $33,000 out of his own pocket because Rockefeller would not open up the market budget for him to make a video to be a rapper. So he spent $33,000 out of his own pocket and made the Through the Wire video. And he took it just from documentary, from Cootie's footage. That's how he made the video. He just used Cootie's footage. Cootie edited it, all that, and
it's
made
amazing.
a music video. It is amazing.
Great. That's what makes documentaries great. If you take something that happened, some big deal, and they make a documentary out of it, that's pretty cool. But you've got 20 years worth of footage of all the behind the scenes stuff.
It's a lot to go
through.
It is that homeless woman in the beginning of Through the Wire video. She was a homeless crackhead woman in the restaurant. Said, "This is gonna be Kanye West's new video," and that was the intro to the Through the Wire video. He used that in the video. Amazing.
Anyway,
amazing. Yeah, go ahead.
You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it.
To tie it a little bit into the Commanders here, real quick. Jay-Z has been interested in kind of getting into an NFL franchise. Would you guys want Jay-Z or Kanye to replace Dan Snyder?
Give me Jay-Z, because Jay-Z already owns part of the Nets, right?
Yes.
At least he did at some point. He might still.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and do that. We'll look. Kanye can stick to fashion. Owning NBA team. I mean, he has a high school team right now, but NBA team, leave it to Jay-Z on that one.
All right, Trev. I got a bone.
Stoner, you didn't give an answer. Are you just going to agree with him?
Anybody? Insert name here. Not Dan Snyder.
Anyone other than Dan Snyder.
It doesn't matter to me.
A lot of people are requesting Bezos to.
We'll do it.
Pay. I don't know that really
Amazon field, baby.
But I mean,
yeah. All right. So smooth transition here.
Yeah.
Just like that. There you go.
Great segues.
I wanna pick on Trevor a minute. That I didn't get to do this last week. I kind of forgot about it. But I want to ask you, Trevor, and I want to hear Nathan's thoughts on this as well, because I don't know that you really noticed it when it happened. And here's a tweet from Trevor from a while ago. I don't have the date. I took a screenshot and I said,
"Dang, you're bringing up receipts."
I know.
Yeah, I got a receipt here. All right.
Has it been past 30 days? Because we don't accept receipts after 30 days.
No, not 30 days.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
I like how changing the crest is considered progress.
I knew it.
Not be used until we get our guy taking snaps. Till then, stop making news about a change in the brand new logo. Who cares? LOL. You know who cares, Trev?
I know you care, Stoner. I know you care, and I know
a lot of fans care.
I know a lot of fans do care. I know they do, but is there any reason why we have to drag it out for as long as it was dragged out? I mean, it was just released. Give the people some credit. This fan base can never be satisfied for 5 minutes. New uniforms came out, new logos came out. Oh, the crest is wrong. Okay, but the whole entire crest is different. I didn't even pay attention. That's because me personally, the numbers. The whole crest is different. So if they made a mistake, okay, it's going to happen. It's a brand. It's a rebrand. It's going to happen. The red is still red, not burgundy on the white uniforms, like you just said, Nathan. Like, okay.
It is burgundy. It matches the helmet. People who've seen it in person will tell you.
Yeah, but so like
the burgundy matches the helmet. The only reason why it doesn't look that way in photographs is because of the gradient, and then you're taking a picture of it. So
so that's my whole thing. Like, yes, it's progress, okay, because you changed the numbers. But damn it, is it really going to matter by week 8 what the crest says if we're losing?
No,
it's not. So I think that we spent too much time on the little things and making it a big thing rather than focus on the big thing and make it a smaller thing. It's progress in the front office field, I guess, but as a whole organization,
they still need. We talked with Julie about that,
but not like. Cool, but we need progress on the damn field. We've had so many changes already. We've already made this progress. We put the people in line to do the rebrand, so that's already part of the progress. Changing the numbers on the crest is a department in the whole progress of the front office. That's what I was trying to say.
I think I'd like to see that they're listening though, and
they are. But damn,
shout out here to P4. I'm going to tie this into his here. P4, congratulations on being a season ticket holder. Seemed like there was a lot of people going out and getting season tickets, and there's that excitement again. We had that excitement last off season. Now there's the rebrand. They did those tables. Those tables were like that's $5,000 for the
same
tables.
Same beer they're going to serve, so that's not progress.
Apparently, I guess the table does come with like perks like beers and food and stuff. So I mean, the fact that they're able to sell out those tables, the fact that they had a lot of people committed to season tickets like P4, I think that's good. You want to see that kind of progress. Yes, we're all being ash burned yet again.
And I am seeing right through that this year. I will not be Ashburn this year. I've been Ashburn for 34 years.
Yes,
I'll be 30. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not a season
It took you
ticket holder
20
because
minutes to like the name Commanders. You went from hating it.
But I didn't get season tickets.
20 minutes.
I'm not spending thousands of dollars on season tickets when we don't even know who's taking the snap for us. It could be Taylor Heineke, and all those season ticket holders out there are going to go watch Taylor Heineke take every snap.
Money on Taylor
So
Heineke.
I'm just saying, no offense, P4 Boxing. I'm glad you're a season ticket holder. That's awesome, new perks. But if Taylor Heineke's taking snaps, enjoy that while you're sipping your $20 beer, and I'm at home sipping my $10 beer, watching the same product on the field. So that's why I'm not jumping the gun. Yeah, I'm not getting Ashburn. So Stoner, I apologize sincerely for affecting you about the crest and all military and all fan base and everything. But in a legit, not realistic, but football sense, cool.
Okay. All of that was actually very well explained, I think. Chad.
Okay.
I think you put it really nicely.
I just don't have enough characters on Twitter.
But what can't be done, or what I think can't be done, is for something good to happen, and then for people to say, "Well, that's not enough." Of course, it's not enough, but it's something. They're doing something. They did listen. And as much as you want to say if the numbers on a crest are a big deal or not, they're not in the grand scheme of things. What's a big deal is if you produce a Super Bowl contender. That's the ultimate goal. But these little things they put the crest out there. Everybody said, you did it wrong, so fix it. And they did. And they didn't have to.
Yeah, they did. Or else
they didn't have to.
They would never hear the end of it.
Jason actually several times kind of was a staunch defender of nope, this is what it says. It's supposed to be 92. It's supposed to be, all these the dates and everything. He was not exactly leaning into that. Now behind the scenes, that's actually where they were doing some of the work, right? There was reports that came out that they did approach the NFL about using the Roman numerals. Apparently they couldn't do that. Just silly. It's Roman numerals. Anybody can use Roman numerals.
I know this might not be in their department, whoever's in charge of changing the crest or logo, but I'm just saying also look how fast it took them to do that, but look how slow it's taken them to do the more important things of this organization. So I just want to make that clear as well.
Okay, if they take their time on the things that matter. Okay?
One of my big sayings always is nothing is linear. Okay, it's not like if they don't change it, then nothing else is going to change. It's not that easy. But when they do something right, when they do listen to the fans who are not happy about it, and when there is a big outrage about it, and they do something about it, that's significant. That's
the word. There you go.
Significant.
That's the word that should be used instead of progress, I think, because significant is way better than progress.
Yeah, it's not necessarily progress in terms of what the ultimate goal is, which is of course producing a contender on the field. It's not. It has
good
those two again. It's not linear. It's not because of this, then this happens.
Significant.
It's something that you look at and you say, "Cool, they listen." Now let's move on to quarterback. And who are the great players coming out of the combine this year?
I'm going to tweet right now that the changing of the crest is significant.
All right. Well, while he's tweeting that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the combine, and we're going to talk about the progress that can happen this week. In fact, Ron's made a couple interesting comments that we're going to be talking about, and we're going to talk about who they should be looking at, what their goals should be, all that coming up here on The Game, sponsored by Pacers Running. The Game is brought to you by Pacers Running Stores. Pacers has 6 stores in Northern Virginia and DC. For the best running footwear, apparel, and gear, just stop by or schedule a virtual fitting with the best running experts in the business. Pacers Running exists to help as many people as possible through running. For every run, it's Pacers Running. Welcome back to the game. I want to thank both William and P4 for the birthday wishes. Yes, it is, in fact, my birthday today. I am 37 years old.
Good Lord.
Oh, wow.
You can see the gray in the beard.
Yeah.
Sorry
about that. That was my reaction to that. All right, let's do it. Combine talk, baby.
Combine. The NFL Scouting Combine is happening right now. There's basketballs being thrown. If you saw the thumbnail for this, it's Sam Howell doing his little press interview. Philadelphia had him toss a basketball into like the little kiddie hoop. I don't think they're looking at him. I think they're just doing due diligence. What do you guys think of the combine as a whole?
Well, personally, I love the combine. I love watching these guys do their drills in their 40s and they're jumping and all that stuff. And you get to kind of compare them to the past, and you get these combine warriors who come out of nowhere. You have no idea who they are. Yeah,
Sam
and
Cosmi.
then all of a sudden they're into the first round. But but the one thing that I'll always say about
there's 40 and Preston Sanders.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
all. Go ahead.
The one thing I'll say about this combine though is that as a fan, I don't care about any of that stuff either, as far as when it comes to Washington, because all you get are lies and subterfuge. Remember that word? And
yeah, I do.
Yeah, and all of this talk and everything, and nobody's telling the truth, and nobody's giving you any information. And as a fan, we have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. But it's just kind of fun to watch these guys work out and compare them to each other and compare them to the past. And so that's what I think of the combine. It's great from a fan perspective, but let's not get too excited about certain news that comes out, like Ron Rivera's press conference and Marty Mayhew's and all the other coaches that had their press conferences. Nobody's telling the truth. So don't.
So Mitch Trubisky is not someone you'd want to marry your daughter?
I don't want Trubisky to ever come out of my mouth. Okay, I don't want to ever say that name because I don't want it anywhere near my team.
Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about it. Especially, we're going to be doing a tier video that'll come out this week. So he's on that list, and he might be one of the 42 quarterbacks that the team's looking at. Both Mayhew and Ron Rivera talked a little bit about that. We'll get to that in a moment. Trev, I want you to be able to answer the question though on the combine. He likes it from a perspective as like a fan. It's fun to watch. They've definitely made it into an entire. Like it used to be just an event for the teams, and we kind of you'd get reports from it. Now it's a full-on TV spectacle. Trev, what are your feelings on the combine?
I don't give a damn about the NFL combine, to be honest, until the coaches speak. But watching all the players do the drills, they're doing all that stuff without pads, without contact. I could run a 4.4 if I really wanted to without pads. Troy Apke was amazed beyond by his speed. Okay, we will. Amazed by his speed, but it's like he put pads on, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Troy Apke is just known as a special teams ace. Like that speed doesn't, translate to that, but that's it. So like the combine, I don't care how fast you can run, how much you can lift. If you can't make a block, if you can't shed a block, if you can't make a tackle, you know what I'm saying? Then I don't care how high you jumped and touched a thing, or how far you jumped in some sand or whatever. I don't care. Now, when it comes to the coaches talking, yes, it is a lot of smoke, but it's also a little bit of truth, a little bit of things to get the rumor mill going. And who knows, maybe some nuggets are truthful, but we think it's just smoke and end up being true. When it comes to, I guess we're alluding to this, the Ron Rivera press conference, I take everything he says seriously. Marty Mayhew, not so much now because... Well, more serious than Marty Mayhew because he's already admitted that he said too much back in January about Brandon Scherf's contract.
He's about to be tight-lipped again.
It's like, great, dude. Like, well, now I don't believe a damn thing you say anymore, so you better be tight-lipped. But what Ron says, at least I believe it more. I take a little bit more stock into it, a little more value. So when it comes to my team's coaches and owners, I pay attention more than that rather than who runs the fastest cone drill or whatever. So, because like you said, Jamin Davis, he was, and now we're already talking about we need somebody who can cover at linebacker, and we just got him last year at 19.
Yeah,
so
which is weird because he was a coverage linebacker. So
exactly. So the combine to me does not matter. It's just strength training events for athletes.
Disagree with you there, Trev. I think that there are some very important things. Now, I don't think the combine is the end all be all.
Sure.
I think that that's the stuff on the tape is what they should focus on. Now, what I like about the combine is these events do give you data points. Maybe there's something they weren't being coached right, and you can take a guy who had your 4.4 speed, Trev, and you're like, hey, this guy didn't really show it, but maybe it's because he wasn't being coached properly on how to use that speed, but we can pull that out of him. Now, sometimes you can't. Jamin Davis is a good example of that, where they thought, hey, this guy has a lot of the measurables we're looking for. Maybe we can, tune this into somebody who can be a middle linebacker and see what you get out of there. So I like the data points from this.
Yeah.
I think what's more important to the teams are those interviews, which is what even Ron Rivera is talking about, is getting in there and getting to know the person, how that person fits on your team. So
what I thought was funny is that somebody tweeted this out, and I'd like to give credit to them, but I can't remember exactly who it was. But last year, Washington's draft was, in order from first round was middle linebacker.
Colin was the one who did that, I believe.
Who is that?
Colin.
Okay, Colin. Last year was middle linebacker, offensive tackle / guard, wide receiver, cornerback, safety, or whatever as you get towards the later rounds. This year, it may be the exact same drafting. It could be in the first round. It could be middle linebacker, then offensive tackle / guard, then wide receiver, then quarterback, because obviously last year's draft didn't produce the type of players that they had hoped it would be. And that could be,
oh boy,
like you said, maybe the combine, they put too much stock into the combine and not enough on the tape. When you
bro.
Guys. But
that's what
I'm saying. Who knows? All these guys can still develop. Maybe we got to give them time, and they got to focus on other positions. But man, it's almost sad that we could be basically having the exact same draft as last year with the guys that we're going to be drafting. Not good.
I mean, they at least hit on the lineman, but with Sheriff leaving is the problem. Cosme's a dude.
Cosme is a dude. Yes.
He's legit. It's
and Schweitzer can be the Sheriff. We'll be all right.
Yeah, I agree, Tommy T, that De'Ami Brown looks exciting, and we were excited about him last year. I do think that they'll end up taking another wide receiver. I think that they want somebody taller, and I think they're looking for some good stuff there. P-Dub's going to race you, by the way, Trev.
P-Dub, I'm welcoming all smoke.
Alcatone was teasing him.
Alcatone. Yeah. I got you too, bro. I know you're just messing, but lace them up, dog. We running. Meet me at the combine, bro.
So we're going to get to Rivera's comments and Mayhew's comments in a little bit, but what for the combine, what should they be looking for? What should the Commanders be looking for these next few days?
Quarterbacks, cornerbacks, and cornerbacks. I don't think, and I don't follow like college like Josh Taylor does as much, but I don't know the like any good linebacker prospects that are being talked about like they were last year with Jock from Cleveland Browns, Jamin Davis from Kentucky. They were getting some talks during this time too. I don't hear anything about that outside of Nakobe Dean, and he might be gone by the time 11 gets there. So quarterbacks, and find a nice young rookie cornerback that you can pair with St. Juste as well. Like, I think St. Juste is good, but we really don't know. He was concussed a lot this year. That's a telltale sign. Maybe he's not as healthy like a Jordan Reed that we had. He has a talent, but he just can't stay healthy. So maybe just go deep and get a cornerback in this draft class. And offensive linemen can never hurt by drafting one of those guys in the draft, no matter what round. So quarterback, O-line, cornerback.
I mean, if they drafted any position at this point, at number 11 or whatever it is in the next round, 42,
I think.
Yeah. If they drafted anybody, it would be considered a need, right? If they maybe the only thing that they wouldn't draft, assuming that they re-sign McKissic,
running back,
talk of that, right, is running back. You would say, well, wait a minute, there's not a need there.
At least not within the first 4 rounds for running back.
But if they drafted a receiver, if they drafted lineman, linebacker, maybe defensive lineman, you don't want to do that. Just
right, you don't.
Right?
Yeah.
But if they drafted a stud corner or a safety or any of those, if you say, okay, that makes sense, we need that. Right? There isn't any position that's off limits. Like I said, maybe defensive lineman and running back.
Even Julie on our interview with her this week, she even said, there's needs at every position.
Absolutely.
Right. And if the quarterback class isn't as strong this year, that means that all the other positions aren't going to be nearly as strong either if the quarterback positions is not that strong for the combine. So for this year's combine, like you said, Stoner, if you can draft whatever you need in the first 2 rounds, great. But if you want to do position specific in this draft class, quarterback, cornerback, and lineman, I think personally.
And then you've got to figure out also free agency comes first, right? Free
yes.
agency starts like next week, basically.
Yeah, dog.
The tampering period.
March 16th. Yeah.
So then maybe your draft needs become less of a need because
it can completely change based on what you do in free agency.
And your quarterback too. Literally your quarterback. So.
Yeah, exactly. So if they go out and, there's all the talk about all these different quarterbacks. Well, let's just say they somehow wheel and deal and they get Russell Wilson. Then you're probably not drafting a Desmond Ridder or a Kenny Pickett, or they probably wouldn't have that.
Unless he's there at the spot that we're picking at. And he's the best player available.
But probably not because you're not going to waste capital if you've got Russell Wilson back there for the next 4 or 5 years. Yeah. So it all depends on free agency. You can do all the talk you want now about we love this guy and we want this position, but that can completely change when free agency comes around.
You know what? I'm so glad I'm not in charge of any of that stuff.
Oh man,
off season is a full-time gig.
So here we are like, why the hell did you pick him? It's like, they've been researching for 3 months, and this is
exactly.
Just like the fan base, you go hot on one guy, and then you start looking at another guy. I know I've done it with the QBs. Currently, I'm watching a lot of Ritter.
You said it on Twitter. I'm like,
and I'm just like, all right, I can get behind Ritter. That seems good. And it's just like, wait a minute, like I think this combine's gonna start to settle the QB situation for which ones are going to go early, which ones are going to go a little bit later. Howell, for instance, I think has, since the Senior Bowl, his stock hasn't risen the same as like Malik Willis, before the Senior Bowl was looking like a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Now all of a sudden he might be QB1.
Yeah, Malik Willis will not be there at 11. I'm just throwing that out there right now.
Well, it's going to be the mock drafts right now. It's lying season, first off, but the mock drafts are hilarious because
Kenny Pickett for us.
There's some mock drafts that don't have QBs going into like the 20th.
Stop with that.
Why not? Why not?
I will put $1.
Excuse me.
I'll put $1 right now that there will be 2 QBs taken in the top 10.
No,
are you serious?
Oh, I'm with you, Nathan. 100%. There will be 2 QBs in the top 10.
Give me y'all's money right now. That's
$1.
All right, Trev's going to take it. People are going to reach for that guy that they think can do it. Willis is one that teams are talking themselves into right now that could potentially be young Cam Newton. That could be,
because they need a quarterback.
The next big thing, because the ceiling for that guy is pretty high.
Yeah.
And so Kenny Pickett, the biggest knock for Kenny Pickett realistically is his hand size, right? So,
and that doesn't matter because Joe Burrow just went to the Super Bowl with the same size hand. So
no, actually, there's a sizable difference. Joe Burrow's he does like 9-inch hands. Kenny Pickett's are apparently like a 8 1/4.
They said the same thing about Joe at this time last year, and now Joe.
Kyler Murray. That was a knock on Kyler Murray.
Yep. And that guy, what a baby. But anyway.
So you guys talked a little bit about the targets, but what about goals? Like what should they be, not who they should be looking at, but what should they be looking to accomplish this week? What do you think?
Representing the Washington Commanders, letting people know that, Dan Snyder's the owner, but Dan Snyder, we're the Commanders. We're here. We're here to change the world, change the culture again, rebrand, change everything. We mean business. We're prepared to make any move necessary to get our guy. Last year, we kind of put our foot in the door. Now we've opened the saloon door. We in there. Where's our drink at? That's where we are right now. So that's our goal. Let people know that we are for real. We're not the laughing stock of the league anymore.
And is that going to happen? Is that what's going to happen? Is it going to be a play is going to be made?
To be honest, maybe this is ash burning, but I have a little bit of a gut feeling that we might for real bring the heat trying to get our guy this year. Now that we know what it took to get him, and Ron saying no one's talking about it today. What got up?
You know what they would be doing if they lost though? They'd be talking about exactly what it cost to get
you're
him.
right.
So
it's
to me that I didn't really buy into that as much as some others did. And I agree, if it works, no one talks about the cost. No one's going to be sitting there and like saying, "Oh, you gave up all this for him." But if it doesn't pan out, like if they give up a 3rd round pick for Jimmy G, and that's Jimmy fine. G only wins 7 games this year, people are going to talk about how they gave up a 3rd round pick for Jimmy G.
Of course,
I just think
they could have gone with a Howell or a Ritter and gotten the same results, which may or may not be true. Rookies are a bit of a difference.
I just feel like we have more of a plan, like a definitive plan.
Listed out 40. Well, they didn't give us the list, but they did tell media that they had have a list of 42 to 40 quarterbacks that they were going down. Now the list is much smaller. I have a feeling that there's rookie QBs on that list as well. I do think that they are being aggressive, and I think this is, for me, their goal. We have in there from Tommy T signed the free agents. I think that one's pretty big. The agents are down there as well. The other teams are down there as well. The goal this week should be working with those agents, working with those teams, trying to move them, move the needle a little bit. You have Seattle coming out. Pete Carroll said today, not trading Wilson.
They're going to trade him. He sounded so unconfident when he said that. They're trading him, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
They're trading him.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, you got Rodgers, who's likely going to stay in Green Bay, but I mean, you got to at least have those conversations with those teams, and I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, you're probably going to have Ron and company also talking to them about the free agent class. They're going to talk to the Raiders about Mariota. They're going to talk to the Bills if they've probably already about Trubisky. I can say it all I want.
Stunner, how can you not say Mitch Trubisky, but you can say Taylor Heineke? How the hell can you do that? Mitch Trubisky's been to the playoffs, bruh.
Okay.
More than one.
I'm not saying we're going to get in. Are we going to get into this right now, Trev?
No, we're not. Okay. We'll get into that on the tiering.
All right.
We can talk about that. We can talk about that in our tiering video.
Some of the things that Ron Rivera is saying right now, I think, is a direct correlation to he is seeing his coaching mortality. He is seeing that the tunnel, whatever it is, whatever the
light at the end of the tunnel, which is the train coming.
Yeah, there's a train coming, right?
Yep.
If he doesn't get the job done this year,
he's gonna hit by that train.
His time is up here. I truly believe that. They can't have another 7 and 10 years.
Which is why
even if it's a rookie quarterback, you can't do it. So he knows that he's got to do whatever it takes. He's got to mortgage the future. What does he care about what this team looks like?
Which is precisely why he's pointing to the Stafford trade as like no one cares because they won, right? That's and right. He doesn't care. And Stoner, you've said this quite a few times as far as McVay and in that situation is you do that because you're not going to be there in 5 years. So what does it matter if the organization's in a bad spot?
Yeah,
you're right. But also, did the Rams trade any core players to go get Matt Stafford?
Well,
traded away picks.
And Jared Goff, they traded their starting quarterback. Who took them
to get a starting quarterback. You're not trading.
But like I'm talking about some other positions on the team, like a lineman, a receiver.
No,
so we don't have to do that. And I hope we don't do that. I just hope we just give draft picks and maybe a Daron Payne spot. Get him out of there.
But, Montez Sweat's probably the guy who they're probably going to get rid of, which is one of those things that they do have to. They have time, a little bit of time to make that decision. But his 5th-year option is coming up, so they're probably going to have to take care of that here soon. Now, we've kind of talked about the Rivera comments, and since we're on Rivera and his stuff, let's go specifically about his interview that he had with the CBS crew. You mentioned, Stoner, about how there's the train coming. The light at the end of the tunnel is a train, and it's coming straight for him, right? He knows that, and he's telling people this team needs a vet QB. He doesn't want to put his chips onto a rookie QB and develop and risk that, because if that QB flames out, and we've had this conversation on Twitter as well, a rookie QB is not going to save him. A rookie QB that performs poorly, has struggles beating out Taylor Heineke for the starting position, everything is just as damning as taking a swing and a miss on one of these vet QBs. But the vet QBs, you at least have a little bit more knowledge on how they perform within the NFL game. And this is one of the things that concerns me about that interview. I don't know if you two felt this way, but one of the things that concerned me wasn't the vet comment, but it was more so his the talk around it on how he just didn't seem confident that he could get there with anything other than a vet. Does that make sense?
Yep. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, he's already tried the other ways. He's already tried it with the young QB, the Dwayne Haskins. He's already tried it with Taylor Heineke. Although that wasn't his plan. His plan was Ryan Fitzpatrick, but he saw the limitations of a Taylor Heineke and a Taylor Heineke type. He's seen that. He's seen what it takes now. He was lucky. He had Cam Newton.
And he admits that.
A franchise guy that carried his team year after year after year, and all he had to do was focus on the rest of the team.
And also, now, he was a stud in college too, so that helps. These quarterbacks aren't studs like that. So
yeah, absolutely. So now he's seen that over these 2 years. He's seen that he can't do it with a rookie, project type with Dwayne Haskins. He can't do it with just some random guys out there from the street.
Except for the fact that he said that, though. This is the part that also concerns me. Is he's just like, you don't need a great QB. He said,
which is fine. Yeah, but Mariota has played in the NFL before. Mitch Trubisky has played in the NFL before. Jimmy Garoppolo has been to the Super Bowl and played in 2 conference championships. Taylor Heineke has played at ODU, the XFL, the AAF, and his sister's couch. Okay, that's the difference.
Would you list Mariota, Trubisky, and Jimmy G as great quarterbacks?
No, but they're mediocre more than Taylor Heineke, which means you can win with the Mariotas and the Trubiskys and the Jimmy G's. You can't win with the mediocrity of the Taylor Heinekes, the people who are literally the Josh Johnsons, the people you sign literally off the street to be your starting quarterback.
I can't.
You can't do that.
I can't wait till we record our
tears. It's going to be.
He realized you can't do that.
But he legit, and we've talked endlessly about the QB situation. You need the guy. You need a good QB. And Ron's trying to tell us you don't need a great QB. That doesn't concern you?
I don't even think.
I hope he doesn't believe it.
But he followed up by saying, if you don't get the great QB, get the average, then you build around that, and then that helps out your team. He followed up by saying that. He didn't say you necessarily can't win with them, but if you have a mediocre quarterback, then you have to focus on the rest of your team and how your team can accelerate. If you get the guy, you don't have to worry about that because you have the guy.
It covers up a few things. He did say that. I fully agree with building the other parts. Okay. Yeah, but it seems like
the 49ers.
Seems like he's not as high on necessarily. He's not really outside of the fact that they are committed to taking a big swing in the trade market. Outside of that, he doesn't seem like QB's really that big of a concern for him. He just wants to get the rest of the team and then you kind of limp along with somebody who's mid-tier at best.
Nah, dog, we need a quarterback.
Need a quarterback.
Bro.
I think this
and he
team,
knows that.
We talk about that. You've been mentioning it all along here, that the guys around him and everything. These guys around in all the positions can be good enough with the right man behind center.
Amen.
They can be.
I mean,
you
look
don't
at
have to have superstars at every single position.
Terry
Quarterbacks
McLaurin
make everybody better, including the defense. They make
AKA
all of them better.
Who's the one of the greatest examples of that?
Tom Brady? Well, yeah, Tom Brady. I mean, all these guys do. The Mahomes. And, all these guys.
Josh Allen's and
absolutely.
that's what you need.
That doesn't mean you're going to win the Super Bowl every year.
And I don't want that.
Contender.
I just want to be a contender. I don't want to be. I mean, I do want a Super Bowl, but realistically, as a fan,
I'd love to win the Super Bowl every year.
As a fan, though, I'm tired of saying we have the pieces to be a contender, and then by the time Week 9 comes, it's like we're not in that conversation anymore. I want to be in the contending conversation from Week 1 till Week 18 when we start the playoffs and we have a first round bye or we're part of the wild card. That's what I want. Super Bowl.
We're hosting a wild card game.
Let's be realistic.
We're a realistic team to make the NFC Championship game right now. We've talked about this before. Washington hasn't been there in 3 decades since winning the Super Bowl. They've not even made it back to the championship game.
Yeah.
10 games.
Yeah, I mean, look at Terry McLaurin. We all want to talk about
1,000 yards,
he is, right? And look at all the skills he's had at quarterback. Put somebody legit back there and see what Terry McLaurin is going to do, and see what these weapons like Gibson and Logan Thomas and McKissick and
Curtis Samuel,
if he's healthy,
Dax Milne,
Brown. All these guys can become that much better than if you have a legit quarterback. And we're not breaking any news here. We're not telling you something that that everybody doesn't already know.
Just talking about it because Ron says you don't need a great QB.
He does. He knows it. He's lying to himself. He's got to
he's saying that because he pays attention to the league. I mean, it's true. You don't. I mean, Mac Jones was not that great, but he made him took him to the playoffs. Jimmy G was hurt 3 times this year. He lost an NFC Championship game. All he had was Debo and Trent Williams. That's it. And a pretty good defense.
For these otherworldly talents.
But that's what I'm saying. We have more. We have more than what the Niners did. I mean, we do. We have more talent and more stuff on that. So it's just I get where he's coming from. I think he's saying that if we can't land the big wigs and we have to get a mediocre quarterback, we can still win.
I do think that's what he's saying. He's softening the blow for that, and is another thing we've talked about is they are trying to take a big swing at Rodgers, at Wilson.
Rodgers is coming to DC, y'all.
He talked about, he was asked about Watson. What do you need to see from that situation? And he wants some resolution before really kind of going after that. But these are the QBs that they really want to take a swing at. More realistically, though, we're going to end up with one of these free agent QBs, which is why we're going to do a tier video this week. It'll be out later this week. It's why they need to take a good look at these QBs during this combine and have these the information there, because they will likely end up with a free agent QB you don't like, and they're going to draft a guy. And I'm still saying right now. As of this moment, I'm going to keep my hot take from the end of the season. I don't think they take a QB at 11.
Well, because they're going to send that draft pick away.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on what happens in free agency. I might be right there with you.
So I think
Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Washington. Market.
That would be something. They do have a little bit of cap space, but they have to re-sign Terry, and I think they're going to want to do it now, because if they get a quality QB, he's gonna have an amazing season, and then you're gonna have to pay him that much more.
Do you think? I know we're kind of segue whatever, but do you think Terry waits to see who that is before he signs that extension?
I don't think it's necessary for him.
Yeah, I don't.
I think that if he believes in the organization, then he'll sign. And if he's having questions on the organization, that's because he's proven that he can perform regardless of who's back there.
That's what I'm saying.
He just hit 1,000 yards off of Taylor Heineke for a full season, right?
Just tell me Taylor's not starting. Oh, where do I sign? That's all you gotta tell me.
Yeah.
And I'm
one thing I want to ask. I kind of felt like the end of the season there, that last game, week 18. Do you think that they really pushed to get both of Gibson and McLaurin their 1,000 marks to make it that much more attractive for a QB? Do you think that was deliberate, that they had a feed? Because that's a note that Ron Rivera has been beaten here for the last since the offseason started. We have a 1,000-yard receiver. We have a 1,000-yard running back.
Yeah. Every conference he says that.
Yeah, and I remember that last game. I was very anti those guys playing because there wasn't anything to play for. Yep. But maybe you're right. Maybe it was a long-term play that they were doing, that Coach Rivera was doing, to get those numbers up, just so that makes it a little bit more attractive.
I'm telling y'all, we're gonna shock the world this year. I'm telling you, with this quarterback, we're gonna shock the world.
I think the biggest shock
one way or another
would be a Deshaun Watson as P4 wants.
Bro, I'm telling you,
that would be the biggest shock.
All right.
Tommy, I don't know how many people are going to get a Trubisky. There will probably be one.
I'll get one. He's a Tar Heel.
Lord knows when we did go to the games,
Brown, Trubisky.
You saw some just crazy QB jerseys that people were getting. We'll talk ourselves into it if Trubisky ends up being the quarterback come March 16th. We'll talk ourselves into how he's he's never thrown a pick six, and he's got a winning record. People will talk themselves into it. People will
he's friends with Charles Leno.
He is, and Mayhew's got the connection as well. All right, back on the combine.
Yeah.
Is there anybody who you are looking at this combine?
I'm not
give a damn.
I'm not Josh Taylor or Michael Haas or any of those guys who study all this stuff. Listen, whoever is the star when it comes to number 11, when they make their pick, they're going to sell me on it, and I'm going to be all in, like I was with Jamin Davis. I mean, I was a JOK guy, right? And they passed him up for Jamin Davis, and I was like, who's that? And then all of a sudden you watch it and everything, you're like, I'm hyped. This guy's gonna be awesome. And then of course he sucked. But
he's bad.
Whoever he is, we're gonna fall in love with him. That's for sure. I know that.
I don't know if we are.
Yeah,
or not.
You will.
We'll sell it. We won't. I didn't fall in love with Jamin Davis, and I was right the whole time.
He definitely hated on Jamin Davis the entire time. I think one thing that's interesting to watch is the QBs. All the big name QBs are going to be throwing. So that's going to be, I know it's in a t-shirt and some shorts, so it's not necessarily the same, but you'd still want to see them perform well there. Malik Willis is taking himself off of the 40, which I think is a very smart move for him.
Interesting.
He's got game tape showing his speed. You don't need to go out there, because if he runs a 4.6, if he can't outrun Trev, who can run a 4.4,
that's right.
Then that only hurts his stock, right? So don't run. Just go out there, do the things that you need to do to improve. Pickett, however, is going to do all of the drills.
He's going to run too.
He's going to do all of the drills. He wants to show people his athleticism, so that way, that comes off, which I honestly think is a little crazy, because I thought his athleticism came off with that fake slide move, right? Like, you could see the fact that he's, got moves.
Tom Brady has athleticism. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, relatively speaking, he has
sure, he could beat at least 2/3 of us in a 40. Even at the age of 40, maybe not Trev and his 4.4 speed there.
That Malik Willis opting out of the 40 brings my point why the combine really doesn't matter about the drills like that, because they already have. That's why I don't pay attention to it. But teach their own.
It's going to be pretty interesting. I don't know if they're going to use some of that same zebra technology that the Senior Bowl used.
Yeah,
you see the Senior Bowl staff talk about all the time with like the spin and everything. That was a big thing for Sam Howell. He can really spin it. So it's gonna. I think that there's gonna be some interesting.
Can he escape Aaron Donald spin or not? That's the question they should ask. I don't give a daggone if he can throw a duck or a spiral. Can he run away from Aaron Donald? Okay,
well,
that's what we
the lineman stuff I think is important for them. That's actually the QB stuff. That's kind of fun to watch. But the linemen, I think this is really where you can find good linemen if with the bench pressing, with the cone drill to show that kind of interior movement, because they are going to have to replace Sheriff.
Yeah.
Mayhew talked a little bit about overstepping. A couple months ago when he said that they offered him the contract, he said gave up too much information, doesn't want to negotiate like that. It doesn't sound like negotiations are still happening, though. Sounds like Sheriff is going to be elsewhere.
We're used to that. We've been used to him not being there. So, what's the difference of him being there at the beginning than in the middle? Nothing. We've been through this. Let him go.
So, well, you need to watch the combine then for the linemen to see who they're going to.
I don't need
in the second round
to replace him. It's going to be second or third round, more than likely to replace Sheriff.
I'm reading Josh's Twitter, Michael Haas's Twitter in April, and that's what I'm going to base my decision on.
That's right. All right. Well, that sounds good. Well, I think that's going to wrap up our combine talk. When we come back for the cool down, we are going to cool down with a little Major League Baseball because we can talk about it. They can't because they're not going to have any games coming up here on the cool down. All right, I was making a joke about the Major League Baseball. They're not going to have any games. But before we do that, get in the comments. Let us know what you think, Washington Commanders' goals, who they should be targeting in this combine. Let us hear about that. If you're listening to Audio One, hit us up on Twitter and tell us what you think as far as their goals. Now, that being said, Major League Baseball, the teams and the players got together. They could not hammer out a deal. Reports that the Nationals apparently lose money. Stuff like this is happening. What do you guys, as Trev, I know you're not necessarily the huge baseball guy. Stoner, you're a Nats fan and you do enjoy baseball. Disappointing that opening day has been pushed back?
I mean, beyond disappointing. What these guys don't seem to understand, and I know they all talk their talk, and they say that they understand what this is doing to their game by having to cancel games, but they are killing a sport that is already dying. If you just look at the numbers that people are watching all the way back, you go all the way back to the 70s and how many people are watching, all it does is go down, 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 down. And nobody's watching baseball anymore. And now you're going to start canceling games because, as I believe it was Commissioner Fay Vincent or something way back in the 70s or 80s or something, he said, this is millionaires who can't agree with billionaires or something like that, right? These guys, all of them, already have tons and tons and tons of money, and they're arguing about little things. They've got to stop all of that, because you're going to kill the game to the point where you can't come back from it. You said I'm a Nats fan. I'm a huge Nats fan. I'm a season ticket holder in a group. I'm with a bunch of different guys so that we don't all have to fork over 81 games worth. Nobody can really go to that many games. But the guy who's been running our program for the last 15 years, I think he's been doing it, he said he's out after this year. He's not doing it anymore. He can't keep going through all of this stuff that baseball keeps doing to us with everything they did during the pandemic when they only played 40 games, was it? 52 games? I don't know.
60 games.
60 games or whatever, when every other sport figured out how to do it and to get most of their season in. There were shortened seasons, but 60 games because they couldn't hammer out certain parts of an agreement. It's ridiculous what they're doing. And they're going to kill the game that's already dying by canceling games and affecting guys like me and like you guys who are just from big fans to casual fans, you're going to take them out when you just start losing these games. It's ridiculous, and I'm getting tired of it. You can probably never get me off of my I'm always going to be a fan, I'm always going to go to games, but there are guys out there who are just not going to stand for this anymore, and they're just going to it's too much. You've got billions and billions of dollars that you guys are arguing over. Figure it out. It ain't that hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it's happening because it really, they've got their money. So the bigger thing is you have the people who are employed by Major League Baseball stadiums and who rely on that kind of income. They're the ones who are missing out right now, or will be missing out, and that's unfortunate. Interesting from Fightful DC there. The Commanders should just move to Nats Park and share the stadium with them. That would, harken back to the 70s, right? Where the 70s stadiums were all built to be dual purpose.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. The problem with that is the Commanders are looking for an enclosure. So Nats Park isn't going to work for them there. On the baseball front, do you think that we're going to get a resolution halfway through the season? It's because I don't foresee it happening within the next couple of weeks.
I do. They're going to figure it out in the next couple of weeks, but the damage is going to be done already because they're going to cancel those games, and it's
the projected opening day now is April 7th is the earliest they can do now, is what I heard today.
Yeah.
Because March 31st is the original day.
March 31st, so now we're pushing back a week. So baseball in April. Are we going to have a Major League Baseball in April?
Yes.
Yeah, we are. Like Stoner said, I think this is the petty stage. This is the whiny baby stage of the lockout, and they'll put their big boy pants on, big girl pants on, and get a deal hammered out. But like you said, Stoner, it's ridiculous that billions of dollars are being argued about when
just like Nathan said, the people, just think about the people down in Florida and Arizona and the spring training places that count on these teams to come in there, and these players and the tourists and the games and all that.
It's
stuff.
bigger than just a game. It's bigger than just the 9 innings.
Right.
It's so bigger. And I'm not even a baseball fan like that, but I do understand it's way bigger than that. Yeah. These are people, like you said, livelihoods are at stake. Their jobs.
Absolutely.
And
you just went through the pandemic. You just went through people struggling to make ends meet because of everything that was going on over the last couple of years. And now you're doing it because of something you can control. All that was stuff you could not control. You control it now, and now people are starting to take notice. You've had a chance. They didn't meet for like 4 months or whatever. Why not? Why did you all have to wait until it got too close before you started trying to hammer out a deal? It's insane, and it drives me crazy when it's like that. And it's usually on the owners. The owners have tons of money. They didn't just all of a sudden.
I was about to ask who needs to make the concessions, the owners or the
owners?
Players?
Yeah,
they didn't just discover that they had $40 million a year that they could pay Mike Trout. They've had that all along.
Exactly. Like, how do you not realize that when you offer Juan Soto over $350 million over how many years was that?
13 years or something like that.
You don't have $40 million.
Come on, this was the Nationals. This is that most of that money was deferred until you and I will be in Depends diapers.
Contract offer, there was no deferred money in that, but they are famous for offering deferred money, and that's why you don't get a Bryce Harper. You can't re-sign Bryce Harper and Rendon.
I mentioned the Nationals were one of the teams that were called out as far as losing money. Do you believe that? Do you believe that there's multiple teams? I think there's somewhere up to 9 or 10 teams that are in the red.
Yeah. I mean, the Nationals are always at the top of, the spending money as far as on players. They're always in the top, usually in the top 5. They're always in the top 10. They're never really afraid to spend money. They don't necessarily spend it on the right guys. I mean, they had a choice. Do we sign Rendon or Strasburg? And they signed Strasburg, and he's pitched like 16 innings since they gave him that huge deal. And I mean, Rendon hasn't been much better where he went, but they spend the money, and they're obviously not very good at it if they are losing money. But that's part of being an owner in baseball. Like the Lerners are the richest owners in baseball. We keep hearing that. Who knows? We haven't seen their books, right? The owners of the Nationals, they're the richest owners, but they don't spend their own money on the team. They spend the money that they make from the team. They don't go digging into their own pockets.
No.
So they may end up losing money because maybe they're not doing good business-wise otherwise. But yeah, I can see that maybe they're one of the few teams that loses money. I don't care. I mean, just give me a competitive team every year and get a freaking collective bargaining agreement done and stop with all of this. And let's go play some baseball and let's get pitchers and
play ball
and all that.
Take me out to the ball.
Drive me crazy.
Can I transition to another DC sport real quick?
Yeah, sure, of course.
I want to bring this back up because you touched on it earlier.
Oh, we did. We did not get to G17's question, but I did want to get to that. KP
has he not played yet?
Nope.
He's not.
Not
he's
for
probably
Washington.
not. Yeah, he's probably not going to for the foreseeable future. I just don't think that it's needed for him to come back.
Who's that? Tim Legler said he's called the unicorn because you hardly ever
you rarely see him.
You rarely see him. He's so rare.
So why did we make a play for him for next season? Is that what that was?
Well, I mean,
the play was that he can get healthy, and when he's healthy, he's dominant. And you wanted to shed off 2 players that were not working out for you here. The contracts, as Stoner mentioned, were kind of a bit of a wash.
Thomas Standard-Tensky, whatever his name is, he's back. Welcome back. Let's go.
I don't know. I wasn't a Sato guy. I'm not a big Sato guy.
There's 20 games left, so KP's probably not going to play.
He's probably not going to play.
I don't think KP's going to play this season. I think that they're going to just keep him sidelined, and I'm okay with that.
He's a Commanders
I would
fan.
like to see, I would like to see some more from the guys that they do have. The game yesterday, I tweeted this out. They were horrible to watch against the Pistons. They were just bad. I mean, I know they won the game. It was just like most possessions. I was like, what are we doing here? I mean, people criticized them last year for Westbrook and like just dribbling it up the court, waiting, and then just chucking something up. That's what I was watching against the Pistons a lot of the times. There was a little bit more ball movement, but then you have like Ish Smith who would just sit there and like stare at his defender, take a couple dribbles, and then like do a stutter step forward and then kind of throw it up there. I'm like, what are you doing?
His name is Ish. That's all you got to know.
Yeah. His name's Ish Smith, and there's a reason. He's been on, I believe, 14 different.
It's been
14, 15-ish games, right?
Absolutely. It's just Neto's trying to back down people in the paint. I'm like, dude, I'm taller than you.
Your name is Neto. Your name is Neto. You should not be backing down. Cam Mingo did tweet yesterday, though, like something has to happen. If Atlanta loses, if we beat Atlanta tomorrow or Friday, we could take over the 10th spot, which means that's a play-in spot too, right? But I think the 7 and 8 spots are double elimination play-in.
Yes, it's double elimination at 7 and 8. So
and 9 and 10.
That's where you want to get to.
Yeah.
So 9 and 10 play. The loser of that's out. The winner of that will play the loser of the 7 and 8 game. So
we said that, guys. We said this could be a play-in tournament. Tournament team. So if they get there, that would be honestly now. If they get there now, I think would be more surprising than when we said they would get there.
I think
because
so.
they had Bradley Beal then. They had more people. Spencer Dinwiddie, Harold. We thought, oh yeah, they'll get there. Now they're all gone. They're still playing this way. I think it'll be more of a shock now to get there without KP, Beal, and everybody.
We're not pro tankers here, so I'm not asking for them to get to the lottery.
No.
So one of the things I think is a good sign about them if they make it to a play-in game is that they were coached well enough, not having star power.
And that saves Wes Unseld's job, I think, in my opinion.
I think he saved this year. His maybe next year you can put him on the hot seat. His seat's not as warm as Ron's, and I don't think Ron's seat is warm. Not as warm as Stoner thinks it is. But
his seat's hot, bro. He's 14 and 19 in 2 years. His seat's hot.
Yeah, go 7 and 10, and let's see how hot that seat is.
If we went
next season, it's hot. This time, it's not hot.
7 and 10 with a rebrand and all this stuff.
Rebrand, new QB, maybe not a new QB. We'll see. Watch the combine this week. Let us know who you like out of the combine, and we'll be back next week to give our thoughts on that and more. This has been Ref the District here. We stream live every Wednesday, 7:30 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We're sponsored by Pacers Running. For every run, they've got you taken care of. And, of course, we're sponsored by our very own Sky Bar, where you can go to Lexington, Virginia, and catch Trev in person. Fully open. Great atmosphere. Great really people. Good drinks. And, of course, you get star power with Trev behind the bar. So catch us on your favorite audio platform. And thank you for all the birthday wishes. I'm going to go get myself an adult beverage now.
Oh.
And you all just have to remember, until next time.
Happy birthday.
Be a fan.
We love Washington, and we some die-hard fans. Yeah, we are. And you know we keep it on 10. Let's talk about the offense. 1, 2, 3, let's go. And they gifted. We are Ref the District. Podcast. Come on now and join us. You join it.